Hey, HSM, real quick, one announcement that I'm super excited about. First of all, was anyone here last week for our serve night? Was anyone a part of that? It was amazing, right? Yeah, if you weren't here, sorry to tell you, you guys really missed out. It was incredible. We got together and we did our first serve night where we built a bunch of kits for homeless people. By the way, we did the final count. Our goal was 600. Y'all built 674 kits for homeless people. Isn't that crazy? Yeah. So y'all exceeded our goal. Thank you for that. But what I want to tell you guys about is we're going to do something just like that again at the end of October. So October 26th, it's going to be our second serve night. It's going to be on a Tuesday night, just like the last one. It's going to be a different type of serving, though. And the reason I'm telling you guys about it right now is because there's actually some things that we're going to need to do in advance. Okay? So last week, you guys got to just show up. Some of you guys donated stuff, and that was great. But this new serve night, I'm not going to tell you all the details of it yet, but it will not work if we don't come together and do a few things over the next couple months. Okay? So here's what's going to happen over the next couple of weeks. Every Tuesday from now until October 26th, we are going to raise as much, donate as much, collect as much candy as we possibly can. I'm talking about candy like Walmart is sold out, Sam's Club is sold out, Target is sold out, Party City is sold out, Amazon is tired of sending trucks to Corona, like all the candy that we can possibly get. Okay, we're going to do something with it on the 26th that I'll tell you guys about later, but we are going to get as much candy as we possibly can. So in order to do that, we're actually going to make it a competition, okay? The main goal is not to compete and win, okay? The main goal is to serve others, but to kind of get it going a little bit, we're going to bring in some competitive nature to it, okay? So here's what's going to happen. Starting right now, you guys, don't move or anything, but this is how you're going to compete. You are split into 8 teams, okay? Your team is your grade and your gender. So it's going to be freshman guys versus all the others. Freshman girls versus all the others. Sophomore guys versus all the others. Junior, or so on and so forth. You get what I'm saying? It's your grade and your gender. So there's 8 teams. Freshman guys, freshman girls, sophomore guys, sophomore girls, so on and so forth. Does everyone make sense? So that's your team, okay? Whether you know who's on your team or not, doesn't matter. You know what you are. You know that you are a junior so-and-so, okay? So that's going to be your team. Every week from now on, you're going to bring candy, and there's going to be collection areas for your candy. You're going to come in, and you're going to put your candy in your area, and every night, we're going to count how much candy was donated, and here's how we're going to measure it. This is how much we are going to collect. We're not going to measure it by bags or by individual thing. We're going to measure it by pounds. Pounds, okay? Whoever collects the most pounds of candy over the next 4 weeks is going to win. You can buy bags by like 5 pound, 10 pound. I'm talking go to Sam's and give me the 25 pounder. You know, some dude is like limping with it out of the shelf. Go get that stuff, and we're gonna measure it by pound, okay? And whoever at the end, by the 26th, whoever collects the most candy, you guys are the winners, okay? And you'll get a couple things. First of all, you'll get obviously posted on social media. We're going to try to get you something at our Fall Fest event that the church is doing, something whether it's free entrance or some free food or something like that. But then the big thing that you guys are going to get is actually going to be, you're going to get to tell me whatever you want for dinner the following week, and I'm going to bring it to you for HSM. So what I mean by that is this, not just like a pizza party. If you want a pizza party, cool. You can do a pizza party. But you as a group, if you guys want to get In-N-Out, Chick-fil-A, get Wood Ranch, get whatever that is, we're going to get you guys dinner from there, okay? And we're going to bring it to you at HSM the following week. As long as it's doable, don't be like Ruth's Chris, like none of that stuff. But you get what I'm saying. That's going to be your prize, okay? And that's what we're going to do to try to raise the most money. Oh, it looks like the mic is going in and out. But keep that in mind that there is a reward and this is going to be fun and we're going to make it a competition. But the number one point is not to compete. The number one point is actually to serve others and to help others. Does that make sense? Is everyone cool with that? Cool. And over the following weeks, remember to be doing that. We're going to be posting about it, and then we're going to tell you more about what we're going to be doing on that night before we get to it. But I'm going to go ahead and pray over that. I'm going to pray over God to be able to do something over the kits we built last week, over the October 26th night, and then we're going to get started. Is that cool? Dear Lord, right now I lift you up, and I thank you so much for the opportunity to serve others last week. I thank you for giving us the ability to build those kits, and I pray that they just reach so many people. I pray for the 26th. I pray that we are able to raise enough candy to meet the goals that we have and even exceed them just like last time, dear God. I pray that we have this fun, competitive spirit in us, but ultimately we keep our eye on the number one point, which is that we're here to serve others. We are not here for ourselves. We are here to love, to serve, and to praise you. So God, we ask that you have your hand on that. We love you, Lord. In your name we pray. Amen. All right. Show of hands. Who here has ever had an interaction with a difficult person? Anyone ever interacted with a difficult person? Probably everybody. Should be everybody. We've all dealt with difficult people. We have them in our life. Every day we interact with so many people, social media, at home, at school, on our teams, our friends, our family, whatever it is. And sometimes, guys, people can just be difficult. They can just be difficult, right? But isn't it funny how one interaction with a difficult person can completely ruin your day? Have you ever noticed that? Or like completely derail your emotions and just change your mood entirely. Isn't it funny how like one simple thing can do that? You ever notice that? Happened a couple weeks ago to my wife and I, Joe and I. We were traveling back home to see my family. It's a special trip. It was our 1-year anniversary. We're going to see my family. We're going back where I grew up, where we got married. We're going to find out the gender of my little sister's baby. Like, it was a fun trip, and we're so excited. And we're traveling back. And on this particular day, we're on our layover. So getting on our second flight. We've already done the bulk of our travel. We've been at the airport for like 6-7 hours, done the first flight. We've done our layover. We're about to get on the second flight. Now, I love traveling. I love flying. It's a lot of fun for me. It's just like an adventure. I like seeing the airports and food and people watching. It's a blast. Joe's not a huge fan of it. She doesn't like the airplanes. She gets a little claustrophobic. It's not her favorite thing. So we're here at this airport, okay, in Dallas, I think we are, and we're about to get on our second flight, okay? And we're in line. We're like next in line to the ticket person, okay? So he's going to take our ticket, and we're getting on the plane, and we're going home in like an hour. And normally, whenever we fly, I normally get on the airplane and I take Jordan's bag for her and I walk it down the aisle until I find a place to store it overhead. You know what I'm talking about? I normally do that. Well, in this case, we were sitting in line and it was we were in the sun off the window and we're in the first boarding class, so there's a ton of people around us. And so I actually see Joe's getting a little overwhelmed already. She's getting a little kind of claustrophobic and overheated and all that stuff. So I just went ahead and took her bag right there. I was like, I'm not going to wait to get on the plane. I'll go ahead and literally lift some weight off you. Like, it's fine. Let's do this. So I have my bag, her bag, and my backpack. And I get to the guy with the ticket. I hand him my ticket, and I'm holding her bag and my bag, and he says, "Sir, it's one bag per person." I was like, "Oh, yes, sir. It's actually my wife's, who's right here. I'm literally standing like this, like it's like us two, and like we're literally right next to each other. Clearly, it's her bag. Like, it's actually her bag." He does a little tone shift. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but like you can say the same exact thing, but say it a completely different way. He said the same exact thing, but a completely different way. He says, "Sir, it is one bag per person." I was like, "Okay, I'm sorry." So I put the bag down right next to her, held my bag, and I gave him my ticket, right? So I have now one bag, and her bag is in front of her. Well, my backpack, but that doesn't count. So it's just those two bags. Hand him the ticket. He goes, "Sir, before I can take your ticket and for you to get on this plane, I'm going to need you to completely step away from her bag and for her to have her bag in her hands." I was like, "Bro, okay." So like I literally take 2 steps. I'm not even in front of him. Like, if this is the counter now, I was here, but I literally was like, okay. So I'm like here, like reaching in the ticket. Like, like it's her bag, dude. Like, she's got it. I promise you. So I hand him the ticket. I walk around the corner. It's super weird. I'm kind of like, that was really strange. Like, whatever. Joe gives him the ticket, comes with me. And now we're in the little hallway thing going to the plane. You know, I'm talking about the airport and the plane and the little hallway thing. We're in that. And we kind of look at each other like, that was a little strange, like, right? But we're kind of laughing about it. We're walking, and we get about 3/4 the way down this tunnel. We're almost on the plane. I'm like, yeah, whatever, like, it's over now, whatever. So I go ahead and grab her bag for her, start stepping on the plane. The moment I grab her bag and I take one step, at the top of his lungs, "Sir, I'm going to need you to hand her the bag right now." And we're like, "What?" And we turn around. This dude has left his workstation. In order for him to see down this hall, he has to step away from his workstation, go over here. He is peeking around the corner like this, looking at us. He's waited about 10, 20 seconds for us to walk. No one's behind us. So he's literally stopped boarding the plane. He has stopped taking people's tickets to watch us go down this thing, waited for me to take the bag, take it, and he yells at us, "Sir, hand her the bag right now." And we're like, whoa, like, sure, okay? So hand her the bag, and I promise you, I hand her the bag, and we're like, what is going on? I promise you, we're 5 more steps. 5 more steps. I cross the little edge onto the plane, and I grab her bag, and all the flight attendants are great with it. They're like, clearly that's his wife. They're both wearing rings. They're together. It's 2 bags. Like, clearly they're following the rules, and they're completely fine with it. So go down, put the bags in the overhead, and we sit down. Guys, I was fuming. I was furious. I don't even know if Joe realizes I didn't want to stress her out anymore. She was already stressed out enough from the guy literally yelling at us. I'm like, okay. So she's down, I put my headphones in, and I remember gripping the seat. Like, why was that guy being so difficult? Well, clearly, I'm just trying to help my wife. Why, why can't I pick up her bag for her? Why did he? And it was so weird. It was embarrassing for us. I was just like, oh, guys, it ruined my flight. I ruined my flight. I had like a 1-hour flight till I was home with my family. I haven't seen my family since last Thanksgiving. I'm like, I'm almost there, and it ruined my flight. I'm sweating. I'm angry. I can't think. I can't work. I can't even watch the show that I downloaded that I waited for now to do. Like I couldn't. I was so mad. I was so mad. But why did that bug me so much? Like why did that interaction irritate me so much that it literally ruined my entire day of travel? Because if I'm being honest, if we look back at it, the guy was just doing his job. He was just doing his job. The rule is 1 bag per person. And I had 2 bags. Now, did he overreact a little bit? Yeah. Did I deserve to be yelled at? Probably not. Was he being difficult? Yes. Was I being difficult to him? Probably. He's probably sitting there like, hey, the rule is 1 per person, and you are being difficult. And the point is this. It wasn't his fault that I was so irritated for the next hour and a half. That was on me. That was on me. One small interaction with him, one small interaction with a difficult person that lasted maybe a minute, minute and a half, ruined a day of travel. It ruined it. I remember getting to the airport, and my parents pick us up, and we're about to go to dinner and surprise my little sister and her husband and the little new baby cooking in the stomach, and we're about to surprise them. And it's like we're so excited. But the first thing he asked is, hey, how was your flight? It's so good to see you. How was your flight? And you know what the first thing both of us said? It was good, except for this one guy. It was the first thing. Joe even told the story. Joe was like, oh, you should have. It was crazy. And I'm like, it was so frustrating. It was so annoying. It was the first thing. And it was funny because we had just spent the last 8 or 9 hours traveling, and we had good food, and we had taken a bomb nap, and we had been with friends because Destiny and Jake picked us up and took us to the airport. It was a great day. But because of 1 minute of interacting with a difficult person, our day in our minds was ruined. You see you see what happens there? That guy didn't ruin my day. I ruined my day by the way that I responded to him. Isn't that interesting? You see, in this series, we're going to talk about how to deal with difficult people. But when I say that we're going to learn to deal with difficult people, I don't mean that we're going to learn to put difficult people in their place. I don't mean that we're going to learn to prevent people from being difficult, because guess what? People are going to be difficult. No, we're going to learn to deal with difficult people by learning how to control our emotions, how to respond better, how to deal with them on our end, because people are going to be difficult. And in that moment, he didn't ruin my day. He might have ruined a minute. I ruined my day by the way that I responded to him. If you want to learn to deal with difficult people, it's not about changing them. It's about changing the way that we respond to them. And so today what we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about a little bit about self-control. Everyone say self-control. That was weak. Look at Proverbs 25:28. It says, a man without self-control is like a city broken into and left without walls. In other words, hey, without self-control, without the ability to control your emotions, to control your response, to control the way that you respond to difficult people, you're like a city that's been broken into and left without walls. You are destroyed. You are hurt. You have no boundaries. You have no control of yourself. You have nothing. You're nothing. No strength, no integrity, nothing. When I don't have self-control, I cannot be who I want to be. God calls us to have self-control. Look, 2 Timothy 1:7. For God gave us a spirit not of fear, but of power and love and self-control. God wants us to have self-control. He wants us to have the ability to control ourselves, control our thoughts, control our emotions. A lot of us go through life thinking we're just in the passenger seat. Whatever happens, happens. Guys, God gives us the ability to control the way that we react to the situations around us and control the way that we react to difficult people. So this series is going to focus on how to deal with difficult people through self-control. Everyone say self-control. That one was better. So today I want to look at the book of Job. Anyone ever heard of Job? Anyone know the book of Job? If you've ever read the book of Job, you know that it is a very, very sad story for the most part. Okay? Job is a book in the Old Testament, and it's a story of a guy who has already proved himself to be a follower of Christ and to be loyal to God and to be a man of God. In fact, God has blessed him. He's made him a very rich and powerful man. But the book of Job is about Satan attacking him in attempts to convince Job to abandon his faith in God and completely just abandon his faith. So he attacks Job. In the first 2 chapters of Job, Job loses pretty much everything. Okay, first of all, Job loses his family. Job has 7 sons and 3 daughters. He has 10 kids. And the first chapter of Job, they're all hanging out in a house together, and the house falls in on him, and all 10 of his kids die. At the same time, all of his servants die, his employees, his workers, the people who run his fields, the people who run his crops, the people who run his sheep and his animals and livestock, they all die. He loses his livestock. The dude has, by the way, back then you didn't have like Fortune 500 companies. You didn't have, there was no Tesla. You had livestock. If you had livestock, you had made it, and this guy had a ton of it. 7,000 sheep, 3,000 camel, 1,000 oxen, 500 donkeys. He had all of it, all of them dead like that. Okay, and then the last thing that happens to him right there in the first 2 chapters, he also loses his health. He gets what's called leprosy. If you've ever heard of leprosy, leprosy was a very common disease to read about in the Bible. It was uncurable, and it was absolutely awful. It was super contagious, okay? And it was so painful. It was these boils that took over your skin, and they itched, and they hurt, and they spread, and so your whole body would be infected, and it was painful, and it was awful, and you had to quarantine away from community, so you were separated from everyone you ever loved, and you basically, it was uncurable, so you waited for your death sentence pretty much from this disease, and not only that, it was miserable. In the meantime, people were in pain. It even gets so bad that Job gets it, and he starts to take this broken clay pot and literally scrape his skin off because of how painful and how much agony he's in from these boils, from this leprosy on his skin. The dude loses everything in the first 2 chapters. But if you've read this book before, you probably know that this book is not 2 chapters long. This book is 42 chapters long. What in the world goes on in Job's life after he loses everything for there to be a 42 chapter book of the Bible about it? The next 40 chapters or so are not about him losing more stuff. It's not about him getting it back. That's handling like the last chapter or so. The next 40 chapters or so are actually about him dealing with difficult people, believe it or not, which kind of shows also how aggravating difficult people can be. Like after your family dies and your skin falls off and your crops die and your servants die, still the worst thing to write about is dealing with difficult people. That just shows how annoying that stuff is. But he deals with difficult people, specifically his friends. Job's got these friends that come alongside him, these 3 friends that come alongside of him, and they turn into really awful friends. Not at first. In fact, in their defense at first, they're kind of great friends. These 3 friends come alongside him, and it actually says that they sit alongside of Job for 7 days and 7 nights, and they don't even say anything. They come to him, they risk their health, they sit next to him, they're agonizing with him, they're just there to comfort him. They're actually good friends, they're there for him. Anyone ever had good friends before? You ever had good friends, anyone? Great. Good friends are awesome, and these guys are actually good friends at first. But it turns out that they're going to do some things that just make them extremely difficult towards Job. In fact, so much so that Job goes on to call them miserable comforters. They become so difficult. The next 40 chapters are them interacting with each other. And look at what they do to become difficult. First thing they do is this. They start to actually question if Job is innocent in this. They almost start to blame Job a little bit for what he's doing. Look, they say this, Job 4:7-8. Remember who that was innocent ever perished, or where were the upright cut off? As I have seen, those who plow iniquity and sow trouble reap the same. In other words, his friends come alongside him and they comfort him for like 7 days and nights, but then they start like, hey, no one innocent ever dealt with this kind of stuff before. Are you sure you're innocent? Are you sure you haven't done it? What have you been doing in secret? Come on, tell us, Job. You can tell us. Come on. They start to kind of put the blame on Job. Second thing they do is they start to kind of point at God and say, hey, God is the one punishing you guys. God is the one doing this stuff at you. God is the one who killed your family. God is the one who killed your crops. God is the one who put this awful disease on your skin. Look, they say, behold, Job 8:20, behold, God will not reject a blameless man, nor take the hand of evildoers. In other words, like, hey, not only is it your fault, Job, but it's God that's punishing you. It's God that's angry at you. And then they even get more and more and more and more negative. More negative than this? Yes, more and more and more negative. Look, 22 chapters in. Is not your evil abundant? There is no end to your iniquities. Hey, Job, remember that time that your family died? Hey, Job, remember that time that you got that disease? Remember that? And you had to scrape your skin off? They're like recapping all of the stuff that's happening to them. They're going through and they're being more and more and more and more negative. These guys start out as great friends, but they end up becoming so difficult. And I don't know if you see what's going on here, okay? But let me ask you this. Were Job's friends in those situations, were they purposefully being difficult, or were they actually trying to help a little bit? Trying to help a little bit, right? Here's the real question, though. Did they help, or did they make it worse? They made it way worse. See, Job's friends are what I like to call unintentionally difficult people. They're unintentionally difficult people. Have y'all ever had a friend who meant well, but for some reason they just drove you absolutely crazy? You ever had that? Probably all of us. That's an unintentionally difficult person. It's people who do things that aren't necessarily intentional. They're not going out of their way to bully us or to spread rumors about us or whatever, but they, just by the way that they act, the way that they carry themselves, the way that they talk, the things that they do that are unintentional, they probably unknowingly, they're just incidental. The way that they act, hey guys, I need you to focus back here. Y'all are distracting me. Thank y'all. The way that they act are unintentionally difficult towards people. That's an unintentionally difficult person. This could be a friend who just, not by their own fault, they're just annoying. We've all had an annoying friend. It's like, okay, they're nice, they're great, but like they're just so annoying. Maybe they're too energetic, they're too loud, they're too sad, they're too dramatic, right? They're just unintentionally difficult. Maybe it's the person who tries to help but makes it worse, just like what Job is going through right now, right? Maybe it's a sibling. Oh, this one's annoying. The sibling who's just perfect, and they make you look bad. I don't know if you've ever had that, right? That was my sisters. I love them to death, but goodness gracious, I was the trouble child, not because I was a bad child, but because my sisters were perfect. I was like, it's so aggravating. Just mess up once, like, come on. Or maybe it's, the opposite. Like, they're the mess up. You're like, why can't you get your life together? Maybe it's bad listeners. It's loud people. It's bad texters. They just don't text back. It drives us crazy. Maybe it's the person who sends 10 texts in a row. Whatever it is, there are people in our life that mean well. They really aren't even doing anything wrong. But sometimes they are just irritating. Sometimes they are just difficult because unintentionally that's who they are. And that's what Job is going through. And here's the risk if we don't learn how to deal with those kinds of people. We're going to end up ruining relationships and ruining friendships. We're going to end up hurting other people, and we are going to end up never living life to the fullest. We're going to end up missing out on happiness for ourselves. All right, think about it. If you're so concerned about fixing the things of other people that are difficult, that aggravate us, we're going to miss out on the things that we should be doing instead. And also, I want to let you guys in on a little secret. Believe it or not, the people that you get closest with, the people that usually you care about the most, end up being the most difficult people in your life, believe it or not, sometimes, unintentionally. Why? Not because they're purposely hurting us, not because they're going out of their way to do things that hurt us, but because we, as humans, are just unintentionally difficult sometimes, and we get to see those more and more and more as we spend more time with people. I'll be honest with you, my wife, Jordan, she has difficult people in her life every single day. She's got work, she's got friends, she's got family, she's got her life group girls, she's got everything. And I am by far the most difficult person in her life. Why? Because we go to sleep together, because we wake up together, because we eat together, because we laugh together, because we cry together, because we do finance together, because we work together, because we do everything together. We do life together. Therefore, just by the way that I act, I need you guys to pay attention over here too, please. Just by the way that we act towards each other and live life, we aggravate each other. We are unintentionally difficult towards each other, and that's going to happen. And so what we need to understand is this: if we can't learn to deal with unintentionally difficult people, we're going to miss out on some of the highest quality friendships that we could ever have. We're going to miss out on a healthy marriage. We're going to miss out on being tough and resilient in a workplace because people that we work with just drive us crazy. We're going to miss out on long-term friendships because the longer that we get to know someone, the more that it's crazy, and we've never been able to put up with it, so we just leave them. We're going to miss out on a life full of people and community and happiness because, that's what God wants for us. We're going to miss out on it because we don't know how to deal with unintentionally difficult people. So today, I'm going to give you a couple ways to do that. Y'all cool with that? Y'all cool? Y'all want to learn how to deal with unintentionally difficult people? Sweet. Y'all with me? I'm losing some of y'all. Over here, and over here. Cool. Here's how to deal with unintentionally difficult people. The first thing I want you guys to know is this: there is power in patience. I want you guys to say it. Say, patience is power. Patience is something that a lot of people might think is not powerful. It's not very tough. It's not the right response to difficult people. We got to put them in their place, all that stuff. And let's be honest. Think about the last time that we dealt with a difficult person. What's the natural way that we want to respond? The first thing we want to do is what? We want to react. We all react different ways. Some people react out of anger. Some people react out of isolation. Some people react out of retaliation. Some people, I don't know what it is. I was the isolation guy. In high school, if there was drama, if there was difficult people, I just left. I was like, I'm out. If I'm being new friends with someone and they just automatically start becoming difficult, I'm like I don't want to hang out with you. So I just would dip. Sometimes people react out of anger. They get so frustrated, so mad. Some people react out of retaliation. They're going to be annoying to me. I'm going to annoy the heck out of them. I don't know how we react, but our instinct is to react. Our instinct is to just do that right off the bat. But that's exactly the type of thing that we're trying to combat. Because that's not the right way to deal with difficult people. The right way to deal with difficult people starts with patience. Look at James 1:19 through 20. Know this, my beloved brothers, let every person be quick to hear, slow to speak, and slow to anger. For the anger of man does not produce the righteousness of God. I love that. Let's just slow down for a second. The moment I deal with a difficult person, my first instinct is not to just react. It's not to just get in their face, not just to respond to it, because that's just going to be an emotional response and it's not going to be the right way. Patience is the ability to just step back and say, you know what? It's okay. They might not be trying to. They might be. It doesn't matter. You know what? I'm going to be patient. I'm going to be calm. I'm going to gather my emotions. I'm going to gather my thoughts. I'm going to figure out the right way to respond to this. I'm going to be patient with them, and there's power in that. I'll tell you why there's power in that. First of all, we see in Colossians 1 that it says with patience and endurance, we have the ability to be strengthened with all power. So even the Bible says that there is power in patience. But I want you to think about it. I want you to think about it this way. There are a lot of people who are kind, who genuinely love people, that are known as annoying, that are known as angry, that are known as irritable, that are known as jealous, that are known as whatever it is, as flaky. They're known as a lot of things. Why? Because even though they care about the people around them, even though they want people in life, they're constantly reacting out of emotion. But in order to be patient, there's power in that, because guess what you're able to do? You're able to be the person that you really want to be. You don't have that power. You don't have that ability if you're not patient. Patience gives you the power, gives you the ability to respond the way that you need to respond. There's power in patience. And the second thing is this, it goes into kindness. I want you to say this with me. Being kind calms the mind. Say it. Being kind calms the mind. Guys, I love you guys, but I hear the way that y'all talk about each other, and it's awful sometimes. It's awful sometimes. I love you guys. And I know that some of you guys are really kind people, but the way that you talk about each other is awful. It's awful. It really is. And there's nothing beneficial to that. There's nothing beneficial to the way that you talk about people in a bad way. There's nothing beneficial. I've heard it say it's kind of like drinking poison in hopes that it changed the other person. Right? It's like, I'm going to talk bad about this person. You probably don't even do it in attempts to hurt them. You do it in attempts just to talk about your emotions, just to kind of get it out there. But you do it and it hurts the other person and it hurts you. It hurts the other person, one, because you never want anyone to talk bad about you, right? No one wants that? No. But also, as you're talking poorly about other people, guess what people are thinking about you? Well, I can never be myself around that person because they're going to talk bad about me. Or, man, that person is mean. Man, that person is awful. And it's adding just more bitterness and more anger and more emotion into your head that you guys need to get out of, right? Let's say there's an annoying person that comes to you and unintentionally they're just being super annoying, okay? And you keep talking about how rude that person is, about how annoying that person is, about how bad that person is, or whatever it is. And guess what? Let's say that person changes. Let's say that person gets better. You have constantly talked about and instilled in your mind that that person is permanently like that, and you do not give them a chance to change who they are in your eyes. You're just instilling in yourself more bitterness and more hate and more anger. It does nobody any good. If we want to truly respond, if we want to truly deal with difficult people in a healthy way, we've got to speak, think, and act kindly. Notice that only one of those is public, right? I'll see some of you guys act kindly towards each other because you know that others are around. And then you go into private and you'll speak unkindly about people and you'll think unkind thoughts about people. If you want to experience true kindness towards people, it's speaking kindly, it's thinking kindly, and it's acting kindly towards each other. I love what it says in Matthew 7:1-2. Do not judge so that you will not be judged. For you will be judged by the same standard with which you judge others, and you will be measured by the same measure that you use. In other words, God's saying he cares about the way that we treat others. It's a big deal to him. A lot of people think it's not affecting anyone. We're just talking. We're just chanting. We're just going back and forth like it's no big deal the way that we're talking about people. They don't hear it. No one needs to know whatever. God hears it. God knows. And he says the same standard that you judge others is exactly the standard that they're going to judge you. That's what God is saying right here. It's the same standard that he's going to judge us with. You want better friends? You want better people in your life? How about you start being a better friend? How about you start being a better person? I'm calling you guys out. I have to call myself out for it too. The way that you act, the way that you speak, the way that you think towards people matters. If you want to calm your mind when you're dealing with a difficult person, you've got to be kind. But then as the third thing is this, this one's kind of the key to it all. I'll hear a lot of people say, I'll talk about patience. Some of you guys will come and talk to me about your frustrations. But by the way, that's okay. When you come and you talk to spiritual authority, you talk to your life group leader, you talk to someone like me, and you say, hey, I don't know how to deal with this person's driving me crazy. That's not spreading rumors. That's not talking unkindly about people. That is seriously asking a question like, how do I deal with this person? And we'll actually help you with that. We'll actually help you with like, hey, here's probably a better way to ask that question when you're not just attacking them. Like, hey, how do I deal with Chad's, he's such an awful person. Like, hey, maybe let's ask that in a nicer way. Like, how do I deal with Chad? He frustrates me. Like, that's a better way to ask. We'll help you with that stuff. But the key to all this, a lot of you will say, like, I can't do that. I can't be patient. I cannot be kind. They drive me crazy. I cannot do it with that person. Yes, you can. You can be patient. You can be kind. You can deal with difficult people. But in order to do that, you've got to be confident in yourself. And in order to be confident in yourself, guess what you have to be? You have to be confident in the God who made you. See, confidence in God leads to confidence in yourself. And let me tell you what a confident self does. Confident self gives you the ability to think, I don't need to respond. I don't need to put them in their place. I don't need to retaliate. I don't need to isolate myself. I don't need to be angry. Why? Because I'm confident in who I am and who the Lord has made me. Believe it or not, I'll see that a lot of the reasons that we treat people so poorly is because of insecurities that we have about ourselves. But if you can become confident in who you are through the lens of what God has made you to be, you have the ability to be patient. You have the ability to be kind. It starts with confidence in God. That leads to confidence in ourselves. Look at Proverbs 14:26. In the fear of the Lord, one has strong confidence, and his children will have refuge. God is saying, hey, you want confidence in who you are? You want confidence? You want identity? You want purpose? You want strength? Have confidence in who I am. I'll give you the ability to be patient. I'll give you the ability to be kind. That's the key. If you want to deal with difficult people, you've got to have confidence in God, and you've got to have confidence in who God has made you to be. That will help you. By the way, that's what Job does. That's what Job does, and guess what? God rewards him for it. Look at Job 42:7, last chapter. After the Lord had spoken these words to Job, the Lord said to Eliphaz the Temanite, that's a great baby name, if anyone's writing them down, my anger burns against you and against your two friends, for you have not spoken of me what is right, as my servant Job has. For the last 40 chapters or so, Job and his friends have been going back and forth, and his friends have been extremely difficult. And guess what? There's been some moments when Job has thought, you know what, maybe you're right. Maybe I did do something. You know what, maybe you're right. Maybe this happened to me. You know what, maybe you're right. Maybe I am helpless. Maybe whatever. But it always comes back to God. And you know what Job has more than anything else? Confidence in who God is. And it gives him confidence in himself to say, you know what? No, my life is not over. As long as there's breath in my lungs, my God is good, and I have what I need. You know what? No, I refuse to look at this situation as negative. You know what? I refuse to respond and to retaliate and be a difficult person back to you. Why? Because I'm confident. I have confidence in who my God is, and that gives me confidence in who I am. And God rewards Job for it. We actually see that God rebuilds his fortune and gives him a new family and returns his health, which is unheard of. Why? Because God saw that Job had confidence in him. Never turn his back on him. When you have confidence in God, it leads to confidence in yourself. And when you have that, you have the ability to be patient, you have the ability to be kind, and you have the ability to deal with difficult people and not let it ruin your day, not let it ruin your life, not let it run you off the tracks. If you want to deal with difficult people, you got to have confidence in God. So to end tonight, what I want to do is this. I think there are some people in here who might be unconfident in God. Maybe you're here and you believe in God. Maybe you're here and you've encountered God once or twice, but you're not confident that he's in your heart. You're not confident that you are strong enough in him. You're not confident in anything like that. I'm going to pray 2 prayers tonight. The first prayer is for confidence in God and confidence over yourself. And I want every person in the room to receive it. I want you guys to be more confident in who God is in your life, and I want more confidence in who God has made you to be. But then the second prayer is this. I'm gonna say another prayer for people to receive God. Because let me tell you something. You cannot be confident in who God is in you if you have not received him. God is here for you. He loves you. He values you. You don't have to do anything to earn him. He wants to love you. He wants to forgive you. He wants to save you. All you have to do is receive it. But as long as you don't receive it, you will not be able to be confident in who he has made you to be, and you won't be able to be patient towards difficult people. You won't be able to be difficult towards, to be kind towards difficult people. You won't be able to deal with difficult people in the way that you need to. Okay, so right now, if it's okay, I want everyone to go ahead and bow their heads and close their eyes. And if you're ready, if you're all right with it, I want you to just go ahead and open up your hands and receive this prayer. I'm going to pray this prayer of confidence over you. Confidence in God and confidence in yourself. Dear Lord, right now I lift up these students to you. I pray for confidence in the name of Jesus over them, dear Lord. Confidence in you above all things. I pray that their confidence does not come in strength, in their strength. It does not come in their abilities. It does not come in anything other than you, God. I pray that they have confidence in who you are, that you are a good God. You are an unconditional God. You are a constant God. You are always there. And I pray that in their confidence and in their faith and in their respect and their fear for you, it leads to confidence in themselves. It leads to the ability to stand tall and stand strong and say, I don't need to retaliate with this difficult person. I don't need to react out of anger. I don't need to isolate myself. I don't need to do any of that. I just need my God. And I pray that over every single person in this room tonight, to God. And right now, I want everyone to keep their heads bowed, no one looking around. And I'm actually going to say this second prayer now. And what I want is, if you don't have God in your heart, if you've never said this prayer to receive Jesus, if you've just been coming to church and never said, you know what, I need to give my life to Christ, I'm going to invite you to say this prayer with me. And what this prayer is, this is a prayer to say, yes, God, I just want you with me. I just want you to always be with me. I want you to forgive me of my sins. I want you to save me from everything I've done, and I want you to be with me. It's a commitment. And I'm going to invite you to say it with me, but what I want to do, no one's looking around, no one at all. If you're ready to say this prayer, if you don't mind, just real quick, slipping your hand up so I can see who's saying it with me. I see you right there. I got you. Yep. I see you right there. Right there. I got you. I got you. Yep. I see you guys. I see you. Thank you, guys. I see you right there. Yeah. Thank you, guys. Thank you. I see you. I see you. Go ahead and put them down. And if you raise your hand, I want you to say this prayer with me. You can say it under your breath or whatever it is. I just want you to mean it. Believe it. Believe it because you're praying it to God. Just say, God, I need you. I say yes to you. Give me confidence in who you are. And give me confidence in who you've made me to be. Give me the ability to be patient. Give me the ability to be kind. And give me the ability to deal with difficult people. I give my life to you. Please forgive me for everything I've done. I love you. And it's in your name that I pray. Amen. Amen. Hey, can we give it up for anyone who said that prayer tonight? Awesome. It's an awesome decision.